This podcast shares personal experiences only. It is not medical advice. Always speak with a qualified healthcare professional about your own healthcare decisions. Any treatments mentioned are part of personal stories and are not recommendations or promotion of any medicines. And here we are, Belinda, we are back. I don't know what I'm singing. If you were in
something really bad.
If you were in a pop band, what would it be called? Belinda.
That's a good one now, Paddy. What would I call my pop band?
Yeah, what would you call your pop band? I don't know. The Dosettes. No, that's where we're having the name. Actually, do you... Okay, people.
Sports Direct, is it?
Yes, I have one of these mugs right now that is like a bucket, the big Sports Direct ones. Okay, I love it because it holds about 2 mugs of tea, if not more. Have you ever had one, Belinda?
No, I don't drink tea.
But you know, as in like the mug though. Are you familiar with?
No. Oh God, no! I would never drink. I would never pick up anything like that ever. And if somebody gave me that in their house to drink coffee out of, I would have a conniption. My cups, I have a specific kind of cup I only like to drink out of.
You prissy little bitch.
And it's only coffee.
Wow.
Yeah. And it can only come out of a lower machine. If somebody gave me instant coffee...
No. Well, they're 2 different things, right? So, and we have to come back to the girl group or pop group as well. But so the reason I asked that is Peter, my husband, hates this mug with a passion. Like, I swear every time he's doing the dishes, he wallops it trying to see what a brick. But anyone that knows the Sports Direct mug, please send us a little message on Instagram or on our WhatsApp. The link is in the bio there. And just show me the love for the Sports Direct mug. You will know the one. They are like 5 litres. They are amazing. So they are. They're amazing. But anyway, that's why I was asking, because Peter can't stand it either, whereas I love it. So I intentionally brought it out. But
it's a Marmite though, isn't it?
No, it's tea.
Well, you either love it or hate it.
Yeah, I've never had Marmite because I know I'd hate it. Same with like Bobber and all that kind of shite.
Yeah,
it's but in terms of mugs and stuff like that, I love glass mugs and I love nice mugs. Like I have a nice mug here from earlier in the day, so I do much nicer,
that's
much
too
more.
Big as well. No,
that's a normal one. That's a normal size one.
Belinda's busty band.
Belinda's band is busting.
I bust you in a minute. On with the show we go. On with the show. What's the name of your band?
Perky Paddies.
That is the name of his OnlyFans account.
I told him not to tell people.
And it's all feet.
Yeah. Oh no.
I know.
No, can't go there.
Love it.
God, we're bold. We're very bold. Not as bold though as somebody shouting out like, "See you next Tuesday."
I can't believe we didn't lose followers over that.
I think we gained them. There's going to be folks listening.
We gained them actually, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have folks listening that have no idea what we are talking about. So, 2 episodes.
About 2, was it? Yeah, about 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago. What happened was, I need to explain this. So, we had recorded it. I was rushing to try and get the podcast out. I was here in Studio 2, as I call it. And the internet at that point wasn't great. Okay. So the upload failed. And I was rushing out the door to see Shane Todd, the comedian. So I came back in, quickly went in, re-upload, selected the file, upload, and off we went out the door to Shane Todd. Or not Shane Todd, Shane Todd. Shane Todd's a musician. So that was grand. I didn't think anything more of it till I came out at the Hawkswell Theatre in Sligo at like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and I seen a couple of messages.
Bing.
And essentially, listeners, for folks that did hear it, you will know what happened. For folks that didn't hear it, what happened was there was a little incident whereby we were recording and Belinda wanted to take off her top, talking about OnlyFans, and we were like, pause for a second. You're like, pause for a second. And I was like, I'll make a note of that edit. And then I dropped something and then I shouted out, an expletive is all we'll say.
Yeah, the
And
worst
it's
kind.
not the worst kind. One that wouldn't normally make it to the podcast. As much as we cursed, this one would not make it. And yeah, we got, surprisingly, majority of the messages were, that's my favorite
Hilarious.
word too, Paddy.
Yeah. Yeah. But there were
So it
so
was
many
hilarious.
people that listened to it and immediately text you and went, "Oh
Yes.
my God, Paddy." And I
So
listened
yeah.
to it and I had to send you a screen grab
God.
of you doing it. It was so funny.
Yeah. So I think about 300 people heard it in that first couple of
I
hours.
think so. Yeah,
Which
before
was
you took it
very
down.
funny. But
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, but yes, coffee. I am a coffee person as well. I have, so I started off with Nespresso. I've a couple of Nespresso machines for the different pods that Nespresso do up in my parents' house here as well.
Oh my
And
God, I
then,
just got my parents one as well for when I
they're
go up
amazing.
there.
Yeah, they're
I love them.
it's fab. And then we got the one that did the milk that had it built in with the little wand thing, like going super fancy. But then late last year, I upgraded to the Ninja coffee maker that grinds the coffee beans, that has the little attachments, that drips it out, that'll do the milk for you. And Belinda's just left. She's just blocked me. I don't care.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear it. I don't know what you're doing there, Belinda. But yeah, so the Ninja Coffee Lux, as it's called. I love it. And I love the smell of the ground coffee. Love the smell of the ground coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you use it all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely
I
got a
would
money's
too.
worth out of it. 100%. Yeah.
Burned it back
Where's
now.
your favorite coffee if you're on the road though? Would you stop and get one in like from a machine?
No, never. I would never go into a supermarket. I would never go into a garage. I would never, ever do anything like that.
You're a whole new level of stuck up this week.
I know. I've been practicing for the pod.
Okay, let's keep this going. Next thing, what about this next item that I'm going to hold up? Do you like them?
No, I will eat the Cadbury's one, the squares, but not that. Now, Sean, on the other hand, eats that.
And
my
love
cousin
this.
Debbie, they love it.
So what I'm after holding up, folks, is a Fry's Turkish Delight. Heaven. Particularly with my big mug of tea here.
My favourite bar to have with a mug of tea is coffee is a Whisper.
Yeah, because it melts kind of nice.
Yeah, I dunk it in.
Yeah.
And then my other real favourite is Bounty. I know.
Oh no, I love Bounty. I
love them
adore
too.
Bounty.
Not a lot of people do. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so where is it? Lidl, is it? Or Aldi? Lidl, I think, have a protein ice cream that tastes like Bounty.
Protein ice cream, not
Yes.
not powder now.
No, ice cream, like an ice cream thing. Yeah. Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
I couldn't bring that into the house, right? Fucking ate it all.
Please this week.
I know, sauce.
Mother of God, woman.
I've been content creating all day long. Would you believe that? And editing. I don't know what I've been playing at.
What have you been editing?
Videos.
Videos,
content.
Whatever.
Not for myself now, obviously.
So, Belinda, how is life anyway?
Yeah, good. How are you getting on though, Paddy? Have you any stories to tell?
Do I have any stories to tell? Finished watching Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Have you watched
no idea what you lads were on about. No.
Okay. So
we
I
were
won't
on
talk
about
about
it for
it.
2 days
Yeah,
on the WhatsApp chat and I had to block you all.
Yeah, whatever. So finished Stranger Things. I think in our next episode, Belinda, I would love us maybe take a bit more time to talk about where I am with the whole weekovy move and all that kind of stuff.
That's an episode on its own though, nearly, because there's a lot to it.
There is a lot to it. And I'd always said that I was going to, it was something that needed a few months. It's not something that you can make a decision about in a few weeks, again, in my experience for myself. So I'm at that point whereby I am ready to like make decisions and stuff like that in relation to things. Obviously, making sure, that clinically I've that support as well. But yeah, so definitely a good bit to talk about there, I think.
Yeah.
But I'll save it for the next podcast.
Yeah, and just out of interest, since the last podcast, how many hotels have you slept in? You're stalling now because you're counting them on your right hand, aren't you?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea.
Okay.
I rarely get away. I rarely ever get away.
Okay.
Rarely.
Well, if anybody follows you on Instagram, they know exactly what you're up to.
Rarely ever get away. I live a very humble, quiet life in the back arse of Leitrim, so I do. Yeah. That's it.
And that's all you're going to say about that.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
So it is.
We'll go on to me then. So I
Oh
have two
God.
updates.
Here we go.
I know. So I have two updates. One, I'll start with the most important one of all. I got Botox for the first time ever, Paddy. Just in case you didn't know.
Which is a prescription-only medication, and by the mentioning of it, we're not enticing people to it, Belinda. Isn't that right?
Am I not allowed to talk about it though?
You can say you've been prescribed Botox and you've had it as a result. Yeah.
I have been prescribed it.
Okay.
And it worked really, really well. And I have
For
to go
you?
back for...
Yeah.
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 Worked really, really well for me. This is just my own experience. I'm not a
Yes.
trained medical
Yes.
doctor.
Yes.
So I got it done and it worked great. And somebody messaged me on Instagram and said, are you going back to get your Wi-Fi's sorted out? I went, what?
Your
the hell?
what?
My Wi-Fi's, right? So it worked across here. Now you have to go back after 14 days to have another consultation, see how it went, speak to the doctor. But sometimes in the first incident, it doesn't hit here. And you end up with these three little lines here. And they're called your Wi-Fi lines. Like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it.
That's
Well, she's right. She's dead right. I have to reply to her. Actually, I might just do a reel on it. It was so funny. Yeah.
that is
So
gas.
very happy with all of it.
Yeah.
Number two, I nearly knocked myself out in the gym yesterday.
Knocked yourself out or locked yourself out?
Knocked. Oh, it's still really
It's
sore,
very
actually.
hard to tell with the facial expressions that are lacking
That
now.
are not coming up.
Yeah. It's just this constant look of
It's
freshness.
not. It's and frozenness.
youth-
It's not at all.
Of youth and freshness. It is.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
I stupidly bent down and didn't look up when I was coming up, and the big bar,
The barbell.
barbell,
Yeah.
that hit me right in the glasses, and oh god, it was sore. And I felt like that for about, I don't know, 5 seconds, and I went, nope, I'm grand. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy
no,
done
it's
though.
grand, though. Oh yeah, well that's my first time doing it now, and I've been there over a year, so I'm all good. You know, I deserved it really, I suppose.
Speak.
I'm
Oh,
not
sorry.
finished.
You've nothing. Oh, gee, of course not.
Absolutely not finished at all.
Okay. Right.
I want to talk about my maintenance journey and how I came back off my holiday and I put up some weight, and I did that while I was in maintenance, and I am flying, absolutely flying. Yeah.
And are you
delighted with my life.
feeling like mentally kind of in control of things, or where's your headspace at the moment?
Yeah, I am at the moment. But Paddy, as I always say about maintenance, the only thing that I know it to be is messy. And I don't know how next week will be or the week after and so forth. But I will keep doing what I'm doing and relying on everything that I've learned over the past 3.5 years, and keep going to the gym, keep doing my Pilates, my yoga, everything.
Yeah.
And it can only be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of gyms and stuff like that, so as we know, since September, 12 months ago, it's October, November, December, so that's 4. So it's past 16 months ish. I've been working with my strength coach, Max, and I broke up with Max over the past week, and that was a really tough decision. Really tough. Like, it
almost felt personal for you, didn't it?
Yeah, massively. For anyone that might be listening from, say, from Sligo, Max works in, or he trains out of ROM, and he is a phenomenal coach, brilliant. I am extremely picky with stuff like that, like extremely picky with like...
Because of your background as well.
Just in terms of, like even like the time, let's say I was looking to work with like a therapist like years ago, I was like really like assessing them, grilling them, trying to see who do I think is going to be the right fit for me and all, all that kind of stuff. And it was the same with trainers. I looked for months and months. Firstly, I know an awful lot of the trainers around here, which some could say, well, that make it easier. I didn't see it like that. I would have felt more uncomfortable. So I was kind of looking for somebody I didn't know, if I'm honest. But Max was, brilliant, really, really brilliant. But I told him last week that this week would be my last session. That's literally where I was like an hour ago, hence the attire. But I just, truth, like I just said to him, Max, I am ready to kind of almost graduate from like the School of Max. I
Yeah.
feel that you have equipped me now with the skills to go forward and kind of, do my own thing. And I said also, I want to take more accountability for my journey, and this is one bit that so far I've kind of leaned heavily on somebody else, i.e. Max. And I want to start doing more of this part of my journey myself now.
Yeah.
So like obviously
It went okay though, didn't it?
Oh
You were
yeah, of course.
overthinking it a
Like
lot.
I was, of course. Yeah, anyone that
Yeah.
knows me know I'm the world's worst overthinker, believe it or not. But
Yeah.
no, I think it was like for really good reasons. Like there was nothing bad. It was just, but like so many people are like, oh, just text him or just email. I was like, no, 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 no,
Oh
no, no.
no.
This is somebody that's
Yeah.
been a big part of my journey.
You're not
over.
12.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's somebody that's been a big part of my journey, like since early days. Like so, yeah. So that's another kind of big change, and some other changes might be happening over the next kind of month or two as well. That'll be interesting to see, just in terms of, I guess, balancing life is probably a way to kind of talk about it,
Yeah.
making sure that I'm keeping
Yeah.
the priority on things. So yeah, I'll keep folks
And
up to
the
that.
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belinda, we have, so two things I want to say. We have a WhatsApp, okay, which
Yes.
has been on fire over the past wee while. It's a couple of messages that I might see if I can read them out. I'll take a quick look at them. And then if you want to send us a message, folks, as I say, we may read them out on the podcast. We will not say your name. So don't worry about that. If it's a question that you'd like us to put to our listeners, more than happy to do that. If it's a case that you're asking us for advice, very likely we can't answer that no more than when people DM us. So think of it this way. It's kind of like when you text a radio station or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That we may read it out, but we will default to not saying names. Okay.
Always.
Yeah, or where somebody is. But we had a lovely one here. So obviously we had Valerie on the last episode. Such a positive overwhelming response.
Yes,
Like,
wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
And rightly so. She was fab.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think that's why it's so good that we have guests on, Belinda, because it's just another perspective. You're hearing it right from the person that is qualified to talk about this thing.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do,
Yeah. So, hey, Paddy and Belinda, just cut up the latest episode of The Dose. Wow, what a brilliant conversation. Brilliant episode. I'm in love with Valerie, so knowledgeable and so compassionate. I could have listened to her for hours and hours. You two were your typical wonderful selves too. It was deep and resonated a lot. One of my favourite episodes of the podcast. Amazing. Thank you. Had to write and tell you. Big love to you both. Isn't that lovely? Like, real. These are legitimate.
But they were all like that, really, weren't they?
Yeah.
So positive, like.
Another person that texted in that was getting ready for a conference that is on this week and was just looking, for a few words of kind of wisdom. Did reply to that one, and lovely to get that message as well from somebody. Another one here that is, again, just I'm loving the podcast. It's keeping my medication private and have no one to talk to. I'd love you to cover unusual side effects of weight loss or weight loss medication, which I think is a really, really interesting one. Actually, there's a bit more there that I won't go into too much on it, but again, just nice to get that. And I think that's a brilliant one for when we next get like a doctor on or a prescriber on to talk about that as well. So thank you very much for that. Another one, just realized you have a WhatsApp. That's great. I won't say the name. A huge fan of you both and The Dose. I've listened to every single episode and several times over. Oh my God, I often go back to the older ones. Want to thank you for all you do in our GLP-1 community, all the laughs, the ups, the downs, everything, the sharing, the reality of the journey. You both don't know me, but funnily enough, I feel you are both two of my closest friends.
Paddy, I get that all the time. You must as well, though.
Like, that's just lovely. And again, there's more there that I won't go into a huge amount, but that. And then was there another one there that I wanted to? Yeah, there's a few more kind of there as well. But yeah, so look at. Thank you so much. If you want to send us a message, you can find the number and the link in our little description. And if you're listening on a platform that allows you to follow us, i.e. like Spotify or something, it helps massively with the algorithm if you can click on follow in Spotify. I don't know if Apple has, actually. I think it has. You can subscribe to it.
No, it does, yeah.
But it really helps the algorithm know us and get to know us and to kind of push us out to more people as well. Last week, we had our biggest ever listenership in 1 week off the podcast. We had nearly 2,300 streams of the podcast in the 1 week. Which for
Valerie.
Yeah, like.
Did you reach out and tell her that, by the way? You should do.
No, not yet. So the way it works is, nearly 1,000 of those streams are Valerie, and then the other kind of 1,300 are like people listening to other episodes. And catching up on things, or new listeners or stuff. So that's the way it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so just thank you so much, folks. Like the growth that we have seen
Yeah.
in January has just been phenomenal. And for something that is so niche as well, it's brilliant. And our top three countries, Ireland, UK, and Australia,
I
which is
know.
amazing. And we
It's
will
fab,
have,
isn't it?
yeah, we'll hopefully have some Australian, I think Australia, yeah, content in the
Yes.
coming
Yeah.
weeks as
Yeah.
well, which is actually brilliant.
Oz. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that I think that's
That
us caught up on all the
That
bits.
Australian one is going to be amazing,
Amazing, it is. Yeah,
Paddy.
it's going to be amazing.
Amazing. We can't say what it
Um,
is now, but it's going to be fabulous. And also, just about the text messages, I'll never be able to read them out. Paddy won't give me access to the WhatsApps, which is
yeah,
fair.
yeah. You'd
I feel
probably
like, it's
you'd probably
fine.
delete
I'm not,
WhatsApp or something. Yeah.
probably. And
But it,
also, just to let everybody know as well, I think Paddy's going to put it in the show notes that for his movement room and for also for my group, The Next Chapter.
no, I'm not going to promote that anymore.
Okay, time to move on.
Yeah, time to move on.
We have
So an amazing
a
guest. Belinda,
guest.
I'm going to let you talk up this a little bit. Okay, so this next bit
Yeah.
is recorded. Okay, we recorded a couple of days ago, but I'm going to let you talk a little bit about why this is special for you in particular.
Yeah, because so it's Luke, and Luke is a personal trainer, and he works with the Tailormade Coaching, and that is my gym, and I've been going there for 13 months, and Luke was the first coach that I was introduced to. He's the first man that I met when I walked in the door, and it was mostly his vibe was the reason that I thought, yeah, actually, this place is cool. I'm going to go here. And I'm still there 13 months later. And he's fab. He's just brilliant. He's got so much knowledge, and he shared so much, Paddy, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And
like
we could have spoken for 2 more hours
we
with
could
him,
have.
but we just didn't have the time. Yeah.
Absolutely, like so easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Great to hear perspective from me as an observer. It was lovely to hear your side of some of the conversation as a new person going to the gym, and then from his side as a trainer that is working in a gym trying to welcome people, and particularly with the
Yeah.
GLP-1 side of things. So really, I found it a really interesting kind of, two-sided conversation to look at. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully
They
you
have a
enjoyed
brilliant
it.
ethos, and the two guys that own the gym, they have such a massive work ethic. Just it's phenomenal to see what they're doing. They've got 7 gyms over Tipperary now and counting, I'm sure. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So sit back, relax, enjoy the next, I don't know, is it like 35, 45 minutes or whatever it is,
Yep.
of Luke Atkins from Tailormade Coaching in conversation with Belinda and myself. And you are very welcome back, folks. So this episode, I'd say we are talking about movement, exercise, whatever word you want to use to say. I always kind of refer to movement, Belinda, as you know, because sometimes that idea of, oh God, exercise can be so daunting for some people.
Yeah, or strength training is daunting as well. Yeah,
whereas I think movement, most people have the ability to do some level of movement. And that's why I just kind of lean on that kind of movement thing. But anyway, whatever you call it, that's what we're talking about. We're delighted to be joined by Luke Atkins from Tailormade Coaching, who, Belinda, is no stranger to you.
No, far from it.
yeah. Luke was there from day one, and then he just recently just upped and left us to be the aerial manager of Tailormade Coaching all around Tipperary, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So we've got sites pretty much from as south as Carrick up to as north as Thurles and everywhere else in
between.
So we just opened our 7th gym there in November. So 7 sites in 7th.
Wow. That's brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely. We just hit a big milestone there just coming up to Christmas where we've got 700 members across the 7 sites. So things are going good.
That's phenomenal. That's absolutely amazing. So one of the things we've obviously done a bit of an intro there, but one of the things that I always ask people when they join is, who are you? Like, what's your elevator pitch about who you are and what you do?
So I suppose basically, to try and wrap it up in about 30 seconds, I'm basically a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer in some form or fashion for the last 10 years. A lot of my background has been working with athletes. So my kind of thing when I was in college was I wanted to make athletes bigger, faster, stronger for speed on the pitch, power output, all that sort of stuff to try and make them the best athletes they could be. Then I kind of shifted my focus more towards working towards general population. And when I started working in Tailormade about 3.5 years ago, I kind of fell in love with that side of things a little bit more. And that's kind of where I've been since. So I was working in the Tailormade gym in Carrick for since May 22, I think it was, and then was there for about 3 years. And luckily enough, then, like Belinda said, I was lucky to be offered a promotion to area manager, where I now look after 6 of the 7 gyms and about 16 of the coaches that we've got as well. So that's pretty much a synopsis of where I've been for the last 10 years or so.
And a lot of people, when they hear, I guess, gyms, and particularly say working with athletes and stuff like that, is all of your gyms then full of just like, 18, 90-year-olds that are looking to get ripped and shredded, or what is that community space like for you?
It's definitely changed over the years. So, like, obviously, when I was working with athletes and stuff, it was primarily that sort of demographic I was dealing with, and the goals were certainly a lot different. I think even when I started working in Tailormade first, I think that's probably more so the demographic I was expecting. And it was only kind of the first couple of weeks, it was like, it's actually far from it. Our average member age at the minute is about 43 across 7 sites. And that was something I definitely wasn't expecting. I think the general stereotype when you think of gyms is young, fit lads wanting to get the 6-pack for the summer, and the girls wanting to get toned up for the bikinis and all that sort of stuff. I think that connotation is definitely prominent in people's heads, but
it's not reality at all, though. It really isn't. So it's not. I've never seen anyone jumping around the gym in Tailormade with spandex on them, like on the treadmill or whatever. There's none of that. So there's not at all.
No, far from it. I can only speak from our space, but like, really, like, our average avatar, for lack of a better word, if you want to kind of think of it, would be mid-30s to mid-50s, probably, working professionals, kids at home, just average everyday people that want to kind of move better, get a little bit stronger, and get all the health benefits that come across with a bit of training and a bit of movement, to use your word, Paddy.
Yeah.
And Belinda, what was it like? Because we had spoken a good bit about when I first got to know you, about, like, say, exercise and stuff, and you were doing your Pilates, you're doing your aqua aerobics, and getting, you were really enjoying that. I'd love to know what kind of was your thought process when you were looking for somewhere to join, and what was it that made you join this facility? And the reason that I'm asking that is that, like, I know even myself still, I will, like, no matter what I'm choosing, if I'm like, well, I'm going to be spending money here, I want to make sure this is, say, the right place for me. And everybody has a different list of things they kind of look for. What was important to you, I guess, Belinda, as a customer potentially that was going to be joining Tailormade?
Yeah. So I suppose my background would have been, I have had like maybe 5 gym memberships, and all of them would have been, you just go in, you do your bit, and you go home again. And I couldn't hold myself accountable to that kind of gym. So then when I found Tailormade, it is tailor-made for you, specifically for everything to do with you. It's like a holistic kind of approach to it. But you were the one that kind of egged me on, Paddy, to go and join a gym, because I was saying, my Pilates is after getting stronger and I can swim longer now and all the rest of it. So there was a lot of trepidation about joining the gym last year, and I just thought, it was Christmas week, and I thought, just fuck it, just go and do it, Belinda, and just see how you get on. And
yeah, because I couldn't believe when you told me that you joined. I was like,
14th of April.
I was like,
14th of December.
Yeah, I was like, the week before Christmas, because you sent me the message and you're like, oh, I've joined somewhere and I'm going to be going at like whatever, 6, half 6 or whatever it was in the morning. I was like,
7:30,
what the fuck is this one up to? Like, the week before Christmas. Like, I think it's perfect.
It was the best time in ever, because the gym, everybody joins it in January, and they want to get all their goals and everything. And I had spent 3 years kind of getting away from that mindset that you have to like make goals for yourself, and you have to do this and you have to do that. And then I just woke up one morning and said, actually, do you know what? I can do what I want. So I'm going to join it today. And it's the best decision I ever made. Like, I put up a post this morning and yesterday on Instagram about where I started last year, what I was lifting. Like, I was lifting 2 8 kgs dumbbells, is it? Yeah. Last year at this time. And this morning I did 50 kg RDL. Yeah. So that's huge. It's massive, like, isn't it, Luke? It's just
massive.
Yeah, it's huge. And I never in my life thought this, but I just thought I could have stayed there all day and done it. And I get up every single morning and I just love going into that place. I just love it. I love it, and it's about the community as well in there. Yeah.
And I think it really hits home that idea that, okay, this, time of year is obviously a peak time for gyms and, fitness centers and stuff like that. But that really, as much as it might be a cliche, there is no perfect time to start other than today, whenever that today is for you, whether it is the week before Christmas or whenever, like, that's, whenever you're at that point where you're like, oh, I'd love to join at some point, well, that's the day. no matter what month it is, no matter what day it is. So Luke, then I guess from your side, particularly when you have people that are, say, middle-aged, I think probably particularly women, I can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelmed by, oh God, particularly when they walk in and they're seeing squat racks and dumbbells and barbells and TRXs or God knows what else, around the place. What's your approach then, or how do you think should people think about if they're nervous about thinking about approaching a gym? And then even just, I guess, as a coach or involved in the management of the facility, what's important to you in that environment to make it a welcoming space?
I think the biggest thing from us from a coaching side of things, and it's something that we try and get across all our sites, like you said, Paddy, the biggest thing is to make them feel welcome first and foremost. So that comes from the coach on the floor, nice big happy smile, making sure we've had people walk into the gym and the shoulders are up and they're real timid and they're shy walking in, but the main thing is just try and break that barrier down and just try and make them feel as comfortable and as happy as possible. And Belinda touched on it as well. Like, one thing that we try and do is try and make them involved with the group as well. So say if I walk, someone like Belinda is actually a great example of this, and I would have done this with Belinda with new members coming in and be like, hi Paddy, look, it's your first session. Have you met Belinda? Belinda's been here for a year and has got X, Y, and Z result, because everyone starts somewhere as well. Like, everyone was like Belinda, starting with 2 6-kilo or 8-kilo dumbbells. Like, Belinda didn't start off lifting the big intimidating 50-kilo barbell overnight. This is a year worth of progress. So I think it's just trying to get that across. And as well as that, before anyone actually comes into a session, we actually do an in-house assessment where we kind of get a feel for what their experience is, what their goals are, etc., etc. The way we always explain it is exercise is on a spectrum. So you even said it during your intro there that everyone can do some form of movement depending on what that is. So, but at the same time, everyone should be doing the same type of stuff. So everyone should be doing some variation of a squat. What that squat looks like for Belinda, who's been training in Tailormade with a coach for the last 12 months, versus someone that's walking in doing their first session, might have a knee problem or a hip problem or something. Those two squats could look drastically different, but it's still a squat at the end of the day of what that is. If we just need to give them a bit of education, be like, a squat is still a squat, and then when you keep squatting like this for X amount of time, then you'll be able to get to this type of squat, then this type of squat, then this type of squat, and it kind of builds up and up and up and up. Going back to what Belinda said with the RDLs, it wasn't a 50-kilo RDL overnight, it was an 8-kilo dumbbell, then a 10, then a 12. Okay, I'll try a 20-kilo bar.
And then stopping for a while at 1, and then moving on from it and stopping for a while.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of thing that people don't understand. And that kind of brings me into a question I wanted to ask you, so that other people can hear it too. Because there's a big, people have it in their mind that if they go in and they start lifting, that they're going to get really bulky. And Jesus, it's so far from the truth, isn't it?
If it was that easy now, my arms would be an awful lot bigger, I'll put it that way. But yeah, no, I think it comes back to that negative stigma, especially within a certain generation of people, where when, say, my mother, for example, when I first said I was going to the gym, she was thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the steroids and all this sort of stuff. That's the furthest thing from what it really is. But I think it comes from that generation of watching Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in with the big jacked arms and stuff like that. That's not really what it is. And it really is. I'm glad now, if we want to say the world is starting to cop on, but there's a lot more education around social media, even just in life in general, where people are saying, okay, no, I need to build my muscle mass for my balance, to prevent myself getting hurt, to get myself free from the back pain that I've been struggling with for the last couple of years, for all these other different factors, as opposed to just looking big and bulky in a mirror and be able to take a selfie with my arms looking ripped.
But it takes years. It takes years, doesn't it? Yeah.
It takes years. I've been training probably 10 years, and I'm by far from a big jack bodybuilder.
And you're
it's
training.
Not what it is. I try to anyway. I don't know if I'd say that, but But it takes years for that sort of muscle mass to actually develop.
Yeah. And if someone is there, Luke, and they're like, do you know what? I know I should be doing. Everyone keeps talking about strength training, resistance training. Okay, that's something. Particularly, say if somebody's on, say Manjaro, Ozempic, or stuff like that, or Wegovy. Both myself and Belinda have been on over for a prolonged period of times now, and the huge importance. So I think most people, even if they haven't set foot in a gym, when they're on, say, a medicated weight loss journey, will know, okay, I've heard it said multiple times, I need to be doing resistance training or strength training or something like that. But I am scared fucking shitless of going in the door of the gym. How or what tip or advice or stuff would you give to somebody that knows that is something that can help them, but they're really struggling with maybe just breaking down that barrier to get that foot in the door?
I think the biggest thing for me is probably just get yourself a coach or invest in a coach of some description, be that a local PT, a coach-led gym, some form, even a friend online, even a friend that knows what they're doing can really help break down that barrier first and foremost. Because the reason why a lot of people are kind of afraid and had that bit timid to actually walk into a gym is because they probably don't know what they're actually doing. They're probably afraid of hurting themselves. And they're kind of afraid that they're going to make themselves look a bit stupid in front of the rest of the gym that are kind of looking at them. I think getting a coach or investing in some sort of a coach, be it an online coach, a local PT in a gym, coming into a Tailormade, like whatever that is for you, I think that will eliminate the kind of technical factors to make sure that you're doing everything right. You will be a lot more confident if you've got somebody there coaching you, teaching you what to do, how to move, what the mechanics of the movement are. And it just makes it a bit more crack then as well. Like Belinda will probably back me up. Like Belinda probably spends more time chatting than she does actually lifting.
I
And that
believe that.
comes from us too, like.
Kieran nearly killed myself and Nicola in the gym today because we just would not shut up. Like,
some things never change. I'm glad to know. Some things never change.
So say we have, and the other thing actually with that as well, sometimes can be that idea of, oh, other people are going to be looking at me, they're going to judge me, like, oh, they're going to see my belly rolls, they're going to see my bingo wings, they're going to see all this, and oh, I just want to cover it all, get me like, black Spanx and compression and a loose t-shirt, and then okay, I might manage to get that kind of thing in it. But the thing I do kind of say to people as well is that people I do think in a gym are almost worried about themselves actually, as opposed to the other people in the facility. If anything, like you could look at somebody that in your eyes, they might be like, oh God, they look very lean, they look very muscular, or they look very fast, or they look very this. Whereas in their mind, if that person thought that they were perfect, they probably wouldn't be in there either. So in their head, they're probably thinking about, oh, I need to work more on my core, or oh, I want to build my biceps more, or oh, my 5Ks and as quick as I want to be.
And I think as well, the thing to point out as well is that every single person that's going in the door of a gym is there from themselves. They don't give a shit about anybody else. I don't know what anyone in that gym is lifting. No clue. No idea. And I don't care. It's nothing to do with me.
I was just going to say, and you actually don't care really. Like you're only there for your session and to have a bit of crack. That's all it is. Like
that's all it is.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely something people are afraid of as well. Is that like, oh, what if I'm not good enough or strong enough or fit enough or whatever? Like when again, like everyone's on their own journey. Like we've got people in doing their first ever session, and we've got people that are training with us 3, 4, 5 years in the same session. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Genuinely, nobody.
One of the things
cares.
you touched on there was about like people that are, say, existing people, and that kind of introduction when, say, new people come in. And I think in like a small training session or environment, that can be something that's really easy. Or can be easy to achieve. Like the gym that I go to it's a phenomenal, like commercial facility.
Yours is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. I won't say it's warehouse, but it's on that kind of size, if you get me. It's very high end. I'm blessed with it, Rom in Sligo. But like my past is I'm qualified personal trainer as well, back from like 2011. I know my way around the gym, wouldn't be too afraid, but I still feel anxious if I go somewhere new, or if I'm doing a new move or using a new bit of equipment, because I'm like, I'm going to look like a fucking dope doing this now, figuring out this machine, like, or what's this lever, or how do I change the seat? Like when a new bit of equipment, you're like, and you're standing there looking. And there was one day I was in a gym, and I've been in this gym for years, and I was doing it on what move it was anyway, and I was like, oh God, now I'm going to fuck this up and look like an idiot. And I was there practicing it. And this young fella came over to me. He's like, fair fucks you, man. That was a great lift. And I was like, oh. And it gave me such a boost. And I think for people that might be listening and that might be in the gym, that like not to be afraid to go up to people as well and actually do stuff like that, because it can be so empowering to people that are around you, just saying, oh, fair fucks, well done, like, or great lift, or even something silly like love your runners. Like things like that can just break down barriers with a place, and just kind of.
When I was in the gym this morning, I did my 50k RDL, and all of them were stood behind me. Every one of them were stood behind me. Like it's a phenomenal feeling. So it is, yeah.
And Luke,
I can't believe I'm doing it. I actually cannot believe. I'm stunned every time I walk in the door that it's like 6:30 and I'm getting up, and this is my life now.
Yeah, it's mad.
So
it is mad.
Yeah.
Getting that bit of recognition from anybody in any stretch, be it gym life or personal life or whatever, like getting that bit of recognition of Jesus, fair play to you. It always gives you that bit of a Jesus, that was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we need to do that to more people and for more people as well, just in our life in general. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I was
Go on,
going to
Paddy.
ask, though, like small group personal training, because I think a lot of people may see local facilities that are down as small group personal training, but they might know, well, what is that in comparison to just going to the gym? Or even, well, what's the difference between that and, say, just me going in and doing like a spin class or something like in the gym? So maybe, look, that'd be something that could be great to explain and differentiate between what is small group personal training versus other types that people might see in
Yeah.
their gym or a facility nearby.
Perfect. Basically, what essentially small group personal training is your one-to-one personal training where I work with Belinda one-on-one. I give her a program. I'm there coaching her through her movements, and basically I'm with Belinda pretty much for that full session. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just done as a group. So basically, the way we kind of structure it is we've got a rough skeleton program that's on our board. So say today in Belinda's case, it was an RDL. I know for someone like Belinda, who's been training us for the past 12 months, that Belinda's able to do some pretty good weight. So I'm going to push Belinda to that level. But if I've got someone that comes into that same session who might be doing their first session or might have a knee injury or hip injury, they might not be doing the same RDL as Belinda, but I'm going to give that person something very similar that will give her the same effect and will kind of treat her where she's at. So my job as a coach of a small group personal training session is to be able to push Mary, who's, let's say, 65 and has a bad knee, versus Belinda, who is flying it and is already at 50 kilos. I've got to push those two people to the very same level, and I'm not going to push Mary past what she's able for. I'm not going to push Belinda past what she's able for. I'm going to personally train Belinda while at the same time personally training Mary, while at the same time personally training Paddy, personally training Luke, etc., etc. With us, it's very important that we keep that group small so we actually have like, as good as any coach is, it's very hard to do that with any more than about 8 people. So that's what we actually cap ours at. We don't allow any more than 8 people in our gym at any one time, and there'll be one coach then to work with those 8 people. So that way then it's easy enough for the coach to kind of facilitate that session and make sure all of those 8 people are being pushed to their level, while also being able to work around any injuries, tweaks, modifications that need to be done then to get the most out of the session for each and every member.
Yeah, and even at the 8 people, it still feels like a PT session for each person that's in there, because every time that I do an RDL, I get to speak to my trainer about what I'm going to do next week. Like, I know next Friday now that I'll start at slightly higher and then work up to the 50 again and see how many reps. And I know that because that's what Kieran told me to do this morning before I left. You know what I mean? So, and it's so important. It is super important, you know. And I just want to touch on this as well, that the reason I'm doing this is because I want longevity in my life. I want my muscles to be strong. I don't want to be 76 and not being able to get up off the chair. I want to be able to walk up the stairs. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm future proofing my body for when I get older. And that's the plan. And yeah.
That's what I was going to lean into to ask kind of next to both of you, I guess, is Belinda, from your perspective, in terms of, I think when a lot of people are on a weight loss journey, or Luke, maybe even from like coaching people as well, people can come in with, okay, I'm on a weight loss journey, and can be obsessed with, say, burning calories, and that's why, I look at, I use my Apple Watch, I use my Whoop, I do put it on when I'm doing my workout, I do look at it, I think, oh, I've got such and such calories, but that's more so almost like cool, but it's not my main I'm not going in there saying, oh, I want to burn like 600 calories in this workout. For me, actually, before I say that, so I'd love to know, how do you help reframe the purpose and the benefit of movement and exercise for people, so that it's not obsessing about calorie burn? Because that's something that I do find really interesting, particularly like in the forums that I see, like Manjaro, Wegovy and stuff like that people are like so obsessed about the calorie side of things when they're moving and this. So Belinda, I guess for you, have you seen a shift in your mindset in terms of your purpose for going to it, or what was it like within for you? And then maybe secondly, Luke, for you, how do you help people, I guess, transition to see if there is people like that, or if somebody's listening and they're in that headspace, what tips is there to try and help them reframe maybe the benefit of movement?
So I suppose when I started, I got an in-body scan done the day I started or the day after or whatever. And what that does is it gives you your muscle mass, it gives you your weight, and what else is it? Is there something else?
Muscle mass, weight, and body fat.
Body fat, yeah. So Heather is my trainer in there. And while I was doing it every 4 weeks or whatever, because I was seeing my muscle mass go up and my fat mass come down, it kind of started clicking with me then that those are the 2 most important things, not my weight. And eventually then we just didn't even look at my weight. And now I Couldn't give a shit. I just want my muscle mass to go up and my fat mass to go down. And that's where the strength lies. That's where the longevity lies, right in that sweet spot. And once you get that and you see those numbers, then everything else kind of melts away, I think. Would you say that, Luke?
Yeah, I think so. I was actually going to loop back to kind of what Paddy said. I think if you're viewing exercises purely to burn calories, I think you've got the wrong approach straight away. Like there's so much more to exercise than just actually calorie burning exercise. But I think giving the member or a new person coming in a bit of education regarding the difference between muscle and body fat, and once we kind of get that education right and you actually see it displayed, I think it's very easy to explain then, well, look, of these three numbers, which is weight, muscle mass, and body fat, the weight is actually the least important one for in 99.9% of cases. It actually doesn't really matter what your weight is. Like the example I always use, and Belinda, you know this person as well, is Gavin. Believe it or not, myself and Gavin are the exact same weight, but Gavin's a lot broader.
Are you? Wow.
Within it, maybe a kilo.
Yeah.
And I've got no business in saying Gavin aesthetically looks an awful lot better than I do. He's a lot bit bigger due to his training.
Yeah.
Again, like if you take me who was 90 kilos and Gavin who's 90 kilos, the actual number there doesn't matter. But if you were to give, Gavin has got a lot more muscle mass because of his powerlifting training versus me who's more of a long distance runner. Those two things are drastically different then because of what we've done before and our actual training history. Like if you're viewing training as just calories, it's that muscle and body fat balance is actually really what's more important.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like Belinda, I'm sure you've had similar questions. Like myself, I'm down like 8.5 stone now, and it's kind of moved to that stage where like people are like, what's your goal weight? What's your goal weight? What's your goal weight? I'm like, I like Belinda, we've had this conversation multiple times. I don't know. I don't have a weight. I'm not worried about the weight. For me,
the first time in our lives though, Paddy, that's not something that we've ever experienced before, you know.
100%.
I'll actually jump in there for 1 second because I remember not long after you started, Belinda, you told me that I'm going to lose 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I have a vivid memory of it. Exactly. And I think we had this conversation not long before I left and you were like, yeah, I actually don't really give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
like, I just
that's
want to
right. Good. That's right. Yeah.
It was actually great to have that switch.
Yeah, but it was because of the trainers in there that were explaining things to me and kind of trying to get that out of my head and show me what actually really matters. And, you know, they were right, obviously, you know.
It's gas, like the 100 pounds thing, I think for people that have that weight maybe to lose. Like I was saying, like over the years, I would say over the last 10 years, I have done, I'd say probably 10 attempts. I'm going to lose 100 pounds, I'm going to lose 100 pounds, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. Then, like throughout this journey, I had spoke about, you know, it would be great to finally get to that. And I remember it was April of last year, just before I was about to go on holiday. So I was kind of like, okay, this could be a temporary 100 pounds because I'm going on holidays next week. Could be back up a bit. But I was like, oh, I've hit it now. And I was like, I did have a sense of accomplishment, but then it was kind of like, and what?
Yeah. What happens now?
And what? It hadn't suddenly magically changed anything.
Yeah.
Like going back to that idea of the kind of goal weight, where my head is at, like I go and get a DEXA scan done maybe once every 6 months or so down in Galway. And that's way more important to me in terms of, well, I'm going to let that and maybe my blood work and that kind of stuff kind of indicate, okay, well, am I healthy? Yeah. Okay, great. My bones are strong and good. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, where's my body fat percentage at based on what I'm seeing from there? Or is there still work to do from there? And that's kind of, it can be hard to explain that to people sometimes. They're like, yeah, but you're on a weight loss journey. What if the weight? I'm like, yeah, but it's not. I'm not doing the weight loss is a side effect of this journey I'm on to improve my health. That's kind of a way that I kind of describe it then. But it takes a long time.
We try and talk about it now in the context of a health journey as opposed to a weight loss journey, you know, but that's not where we started. You know, we don't want anyone to think that either. You know, when we started out, we were obsessed like with, but then, you know, the thing is, it was all so new then, wasn't it?
I was going to say, so Luke, the other thing is, like, we would have a lot of listeners that I say, predominantly, I'd say are on a weight loss medication, given the kind of niche that myself and Belinda are in. A lot of those people are scared shitless of saying to people that they're on it because of judgment, because of stigma, all that kind of thing. Particularly when I would talk to people about, okay, well, maybe don't tell your family that. What about, or they're working with a trainer that, and it's like, oh, have you told your trainer or stuff like that? Not that I expect that, you know, you have to disclose your medical or anything like that. But sometimes as a coach, it can be useful to know, okay, well, this type of training or this or that or whatever the case might be. If someone's listening and they're like, oh, I'd love to work with a coach, or I'm already working with a coach, but I'm just scared shitless of judgment of saying, oh, I'm on Manjaro, we go over your stuff like that. any kind of words of wisdom from a coach's perspective, I guess, of how to break down that barrier or move past that?
Yeah, no, I think it's something like if as a coach, I would definitely like to know. And again,
Mm.
like Belinda say, for example, was very open with it. Look, I'm straight up on. I think it was Ozempic at
Manjaro.
the time, Manjaro.
Yeah, Manjaro. No, Manjaro. Yeah.
And like this is what I'm on. This is what I'm doing. This is pretty much what I've done up to now in terms of experience. And now you're doing Pilates. Like that to me, that's just another way of me giving me the most information I have to work with, so I can give you the best product and the best results possible. Essentially, so if it was me, I would definitely like to know.
Mm.
And from in my head as a coach, from an exercise prescription perspective, I can now recommend Belinda a better protocol, or I recommend you this session as opposed to this one, because especially when you're on like a weight loss medication like a GLP-1 or whatever that is, I think the strength training is even more important than some of the cardio sessions.
Mm.
And I think when people go into that mindset of weight loss, they can sometimes think I'm going to pound myself to death with cardio sessions, big sweats, cardio. Whereas like if you're on a GLP-1 and you're going to lose
Muscle
a lot
mass.
of weight quite quickly, like Belinda said, you're going to lose a lot of muscle mass. If you've got no muscle mass on your frame, again, when you do get to be that little bit older, that's when you're not going to be able to get out of the car. You're not going to be able to get up the stairs. You're not going to be able to sit up off the toilet. Like
Yeah.
all these sort of things are so important, and especially when you're going to lose a lot of weight quite quickly, that muscle mass is extra important to at least maintain, if not try and build it up a
Yeah.
bit.
And I
So,
think that
I think that's brilliant, because that's why I share the stuff that I do in the gym on my GLP-1 journey page, because your muscle is just going to be like we said earlier, it's just going to be so beneficial to you. But also, if you are like a woman or a man in midlife and you are on a GLP-1 and you are starting to lose weight quite quickly, it is so important to go and do some form of strength training. It really, really is, you know?
I fully agree, and I actually think it's
Mm.
great that, like, I don't know, is it just people are getting more educated on GLP-1s now and what they actually do, but like I've had, even across different Tailormade gyms, I've probably had, I'd say, 10 to 12 members like openly disclose that they're on that in the
Fab.
last couple of months, which is great. It's great that that's out there now, and again, our coaches now can use the same information that you gave me and be like, okay, because of that, here's what I recommend you do.
Yeah, because Luke, when we kind of started out first, and Paddy, you testament to this as well, but there were huge, massive accounts online that were doing personal training and stuff, and absolutely slating people being on a GLP-1 medication. And I think for them, it was coming from a place of fear that if people were just losing weight, then they wouldn't bother with the gym, then they'd give up the gym or whatever. And then there was a particularly large account in the UK, and he was one of the biggest people that was slating it. And now he does personal training for people specifically on GLP-1 medications, you know? So,
and like you would say in one regard, oh look, it's great someone can change their mindset and understanding. But I think the problem with that particular one is that it doesn't come across as genuine. It comes across as,
just jumping on
something
the
other.
bandwagon. Yeah.
The thing is, I think as well, like looking at the business side of things, I think this is one of the most critical times, I think, in terms of health and supporting health for personal trainers, in terms of an opportunity from a commercial perspective, from a like business sense perspective, for you to actually lean in, understand obesity, understand GLP-1s. That is a huge business opportunity in terms of like revenue generation, like in terms of, it is a business, but it's about being honest and about, I guess, being responsible and holding yourself accountable to, do you know what, I want to be able to support my members as best I can. I want to understand this. I want to have kind of stuff like that. And I don't know,
Good
like I
knowledge of
haven't seen a
it. Yeah.
huge amount of, say, like CPD courses yet or stuff like that to help personal trainers understand that. Hopefully that will change kind of over time. So I guess in terms of the coaches that you have, Luke, then what is that journey like for them in terms of helping them understand? Because like I remember with my coach, when I first started with him, I worked with a coach for the last kind of 14, 15 months, specifically on some strength training technique and stuff like that. And like straight up the first conversation that I had, it was kind of like, hey, I'll be the first to say I don't fully, what was the wording? He's like, leaning into kind of a drug supported route, whatever it was, like wouldn't be my default, but I respect it and stuff like that. But over time, the conversations we've had has like his language and terminology and stuff that has changed massively, where he's now advocating for like, oh my God, but why are people like this about people that are on weight loss? Like, and we should be supporting them. We need to make them feel welcome. And it's been
Because
great to see
he's
that
been
kind of journey.
educated.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I was saying like for coaches or trainers out there, say within your facility or even that might be listening to this, that might feel, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to be able to support people like this.
I think it all comes back to education. And again, like there was a time when I knew nothing about working with people with GLP-1s either. Like GLP-1s are still a relatively new drug, and like it's something that we've never really seen before up until a couple of years ago. I think it comes back to like you don't know what you don't know, and then when you don't know, you have to ask someone who does know. And again, like we're lucky enough within Tailormade, we've got a unbelievable team of 22 staff, again, with probably 100 years experience in between us all. And again, as we're learning bits and pieces, we're constantly sharing things back and forth. Or like, say, some of the team, say in care, were asking me questions about, have you ever worked with people with GLP-1s? And I was like, yeah, I have actually. I've worked with this person, this person, this person. Okay, I'm having issues in this particular sense. This one example. What would you do? And I was like, okay, I would try this, this, and this. And then just that knowledge then is then shared across the whole team. And it's almost like a tree. You share it across the tree, goes across the branches out, and branches out that bit further.
Yeah.
It all comes down to education. And I'm actually in charge of the CPD structure for our team as well.
What's CPD?
Continuous professional development.
Okay.
So we do different educational things on everything from on-floor coaching, how do we move around the floor, to specific techniques. Our next one is next week. We're actually going to dig into the body scan a little bit more, and how can we kind of give a bit of education around that and maximize the benefits our members are getting from it. But there's actually a company that we were actually looking at called FCEN, and they're actually pretty much a CPD company where they've got loads of different courses on anything you can think of. And one of the ones they're actually working on developing is something along the lines of a CPD course around GLP-1s and how can we kind of maximize. So it is something that's definitely coming to the forefront now. And like you said, Paddy, like when you have a massive business opportunity like that, I think it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah.
No,
so that's something we're kind of tying with.
Yeah, and it's brilliant to hear.
So good to hear. So good to hear.
But Belinda, it's no more than doctors. Like we would still hear, like actually this week we had a mutual friend that was telling us that they had a very bad experience with a doctor that was showing like judgment and like really negative and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, like that for a doctor to still be like that. And look of course people can have their own personal kind of beliefs about things or whatever the case might be. But when you're working, I think, as a professional within a particular health or whatever the case might be, you still have a responsibility to be able to show up and support people. So I think that's brilliant, Luke, to hear about like that you have a CPD program kind of internally that you do with your staff as well. Because I know
isn't it great that there is a company out there that has the forward thinking now to make a course about GLP-1 and in the gym and assisting people? That's amazing. I suppose that's happening quicker than we would have expected as well, Paddy. You know?
Probably. Again, like look at it, and again, some of that could be, a company saying, look, there's a commercial aspect here that we can make money on this, and there's nothing wrong with that once there's value from that. And I think there's huge value.
Yeah. Do you think you will do that, Luke?
I think so. That company is still in kind of developmental stages, so I want to wait and I'll have a look through the course first, and I'll make sure it's up to the scratch that I would expect it to be. And if it's up to a good standard, I have no issue bringing it across the board with our team as well then, because like you said, and even just coming from my own learnings over the last couple of years, like it's something we're going to see more and more. If we personally agree with it or don't agree with it, I don't think it really matters. Like we still have to understand it and be able to adapt. If Paddy walks into the gym, we need to be able to give him the best experience possible.
Yeah.
I do think that sometimes, a priest mightn't like every couple he is to marry, but it's
he has to do it anyway.
A few bridezillas.
But it's coming fast and hard, isn't it? Like there's so many more people coming out and saying that they're on it and that. And it's fabulous that the gyms are starting to kind of shift their mindset now. Unfortunately, some of them are just jumping on it, as I said, financial gain. But look, what can you do?
Yeah. So look, if we think then for somebody that, like say might be in the back arse of Leitrim, and there mightn't, I live in Leitrim, so that's why I'll take that hit. I say I'm lucky that, I am quite near Sligo, so there is a good bit of access to stuff. But not everybody might have access to small group personal training, but they might have, say, a small community gym, or they might have, a local GEA gym, or they might have something like that. So for somebody that's there thinking, okay, that's all well and good for those people that can get into that group environment, I just have a gym where I can go in and work myself, but I don't know where to get started or how to even think about getting started. What advice would you give in that scenario?
If it was me, I would probably go down the online coaching route or try and recommend someone down towards that route. There's any amount of online coaches out there now that you can work from Again, if you are in the back arse of Leitrim, that coach could be in the States, be in Australia, be sitting on a beach in Bali somewhere.
Or it could be Paddy doing his movement room on a Saturday morning for people that don't want to and go into gyms, but also need to start somewhere. And those are the people that know they have to start. But things will. Things.
Luke, on a Belinda is like my PR woman, because I know I've never mentioned this, but I do things.
Never.
Yeah, I do a thing on some Saturday mornings whereby it's kind of like specifically aimed at people for like body weight stuff that they can come in Zoom. Yeah, for like 5-minute warm up, literally about 20 minutes of body weight movement, and then like a bit of like breathing work and stuff like that, and then like a sit down chat and stuff like that.
Unreal, class.
It's brilliant.
It's been phenomenal. Even seeing some of the Frenchman stuff, but again, it's about the functional movement, and somebody like some of the moves could be like crazy, and I'm sure they're looking at me like, well, what is he getting us to do? But there's method in the madness, as sometimes you try and make it more fun or whatever. And like even things about going on a total tangent here, but like I'm where I am now is up in my parents' house. I have this space set up here, but like my mum is 79, and mum will be going out filling buckets of coal still. And some people will say to me, would you not be fucking going out there doing that for your mother? Not have her doing that. I'd be like, no, because that is my mum's form of training. Is she's going out there, she's like filling coal, she's like maybe doing a little bit of squat to lift it, doing her farmer's carry back into the house. And so that's where I do see again that idea of movement, and the work that we're doing now is protecting us for that future version of ourselves as well,
And that's what it's all about. That's what this is about, isn't it, Luke?
Absolutely. Like, and again, I'm sure your mom is probably doing that all her life as well. But like, if she had to stop doing all these stuff and had a sedentary lifestyle from the age of 40 on, there's a good chance she wouldn't be able to lift in the buckets of coal at 79, and she would need you to do it. But now the fact she has that experience and was doing her form of training, like you said, now she's able to do that at 79, and please God for another 10, 15, 20 years more.
Yeah. Fab.
And everybody's busy. Something myself and Belinda say on a near daily basis. It's like, Paddy, what are you up to? It's like, well, what from the list of 20 things in the next hour is that you want, Belinda?
Have you got an hour?
That idea where people are like, oh God, I'm just too busy. I am too busy I don't have the time to get to the gym. I don't have the time to go and do an hour online class or do this or the other.
And that is true for some people.
It is, yeah. Because to help somebody maybe break down that barrier, or to maybe lean into, okay, how do we move past that barrier off? I don't have time.
I think sitting down with your schedule, like the way I always say it is, there's 168 hours in every week. I need 2. I think that when you kind of sit down, it's like, okay, yeah, I could probably figure that out. Or even if you are absolutely stretched, and maybe it's a travel thing. Like if you're in the back arse of Leitrim, Paddy, I'm not sure how far your local gym is. Like I know Belinda's only 5 minutes away, but if you have to travel 20, 30 minutes and you generally don't have that time, I think let's go down the YouTube route. Again, there's plenty of things you can follow on YouTube with kettlebells, dumbbells. You might be able to follow at home. That might get you by. There's plenty of things that can be done. You just have to be a little bit more creative with it. And again, a 30-minute YouTube video would be better than doing nothing, or logging on to Paddy's Movement Studio on a Saturday morning if you've got that time. We always tell our members to like treat it like a doctor's appointment. If you've got a doctor's appointment booked into your diary, you're not missing that.
You're going.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. Whereas if you can book in your 45-minute session like Linda does at 6:45 on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, that if you treat that like that doctor's appointment, that's not something that can be moved.
Yeah,
it's funny you say that, Luke, because there was I used to live down in Wicklow, and one of the first places that I ever went that I got that sense of community and kind of tribe as such was CrossFit in Wicklow. And obviously you can hear horror stories about CrossFit and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, oh God. And I did my thing of like probably sussing them out for a good like 6 months beforehand, like seeing like, what's this all about? Like, are they all going to be like, doing box jumps, like, I don't know, spring hairs or whatever. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be me. I'm not going to be able to do this. It's probably going to be very clicky, all this kind of stuff. So I went down one day, again, actually bank holiday, again, probably not a typical time when people would think of like, going and joining the. I was like, no, I want to go and find out what this is about. It became such a fundamental part of my week in terms of the community first and foremost, and the crack. And what you were saying there at the start about when a new person joined, they had that down to a T as well, Aim at the crew, like in terms of just, here's somebody new, let's do like silly questions at the start, let's break down that, let's get the crack going. Like one of my best friends now, we bonded over like a pike plank, and every time we meet and we're having cocktails, it's like we bonded over pike planks. And like just breaking our arses, literally and like figuratively laughing. Like
it's all about the community, isn't it?
Yeah, but
all about it.
When I moved up here, there was a facility that I knew had a Yeah, persona of like being excellent and like being really, really good, but it was like an hour drive away up in Enniskillen. And I thought about this for months and months and months. I was like, oh God, like an hour drive there, a workout, an hour drive home. And I spoke to my friends about this for ages. And the way that I rationalized it was, if I was told I had a medical appointment twice a week that was going to help me live longer and be healthier, would I go to that medical appointment? And I was like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even question it. I would not even question it. I'd be like, if this is going to keep me healthy and help me live longer, of course I'd be there.
It's just such a good frame of mind to be in, you know?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
brilliant.
fascinating to hear that position, because that was exactly the thing that broke down that barrier for me.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for like a year, I think a year and a half, whatever, and it was again phenomenal space for me. But that was the positioning was, this is almost part of my overall medical kind of treatment and care and
Yep.
stuff like that. It's not
Yeah.
just you know,
A
pop on
fad,
the
yeah.
Spanx and
But
go and faff about.
before we wrap things up, Luke, let me just ask you one last question. Like, is there something about strength training or movement that you really, really wish more people knew, but doesn't get talked about enough?
Yeah, so I have one thing that comes to mind, and I actually think the word personal trainer actually has quite a negative connotation to it, and like going off trend a little bit here. I think because there is quite a low barrier of entry to becoming a personal trainer, but a personal trainer with really good experience can actually wear so many hats. Like I think when somebody says, my physio said this or my doctor said this, like we take that as gospel. And like you said, there's some doctors that are very good and there's some doctors that are
Horrendous.
how do I put this properly? Stuck in their ways, we'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a really good PT that knows what they're doing, they can sometimes be kind of wear the doctor hat to an extent. We might be able to say, okay, there's probably something going on cardiovascularly here. Or physio, okay, there's probably something muscularly going on here with your hip or your back or whatever it is. There's probably something going on with you in all these other different areas. And I think sometimes people, like, I can't tell you how many people we've had that say, my physio told me not to train at all. And like, that is the most stupid sentence we hear.
Yeah.
And we have conversations about it regularly. Or my doctor said I'm not allowed to train at all.
Yeah.
Like that.
Or
Like,
my doctor tells me to go home and not do anything. That's the worst thing that you can do ever for anything.
I rest my case. But again, like I think it's the stigma of the personal trainer versus a doctor. Like some people are still in the ways of like what my doctor says is gospel, and that's the absolute end of it. Whereas when you've got a good coach or a good trainer, be like, okay, if your knee is bugging you, that's fine. Let's take the knee out of it and we'll just work the upper body, or we'll just work things you can do without pain, or we'll just work all these other different factors to do it. There's 1,000 ways in which we can work around different things. If you just give the trainer a bit of trust, you'll be totally fine. We've had it, I don't know how many times we've had people work around injuries. We've had people in wheelchairs come into the gym. We've had people on crutches. We've had people, you name it, boots.
And it's like when I was coming out of the gym, I won't go into a long story now, I was coming out into the gym the other morning, Wednesday morning, and the Team Engine group were just finishing up and they were doing burpees. And I said, this is why I don't want to do the Team Engine. And then I think Circa overheard me and she said, Joan, what were you doing now? Were you doing burpees? No, I wasn't, she said. They were doing their burpees off of the boxes.
The boxer bench.
Yeah, and I thought, I can do that. No bother. So we're going, Joan made me join up on Wednesday. So here we are.
And I think that's
Come
the thing
on,
as well.
Joan.
Yeah, like it is so adaptable, because there's things I still adapt, because like even though like I know movements and stuff, like say I know my cardio levels could be better, so there might be like burpees actually good one. I'd be fucked like after trying to do them, like, you know, or I'd be worrying.
I just wouldn't be able to get back up again. Yeah.
So I think it is with that. The other thing I'd say as well is like a lot of people, if they're going into like say just a normal commercial gym as well, is like use the staff that are there. They're being paid to make sure members are making the most of their membership. So don't be afraid.
Do they help out in commercial
like you should
gyms?
be going into your commercial gym and you're like, hey, do you do like an induction program? Like everyone should be asking like that. Do you do an induction program? Like now some might say, oh, you need to go to a personal trainer, but I would be pushing them. Well, if I join, like, can you show me around? Can you show me the equipment? Can you show me how to use it, as a very basic fundamental thing to help you settle into that gym? And I think a lot of people don't think of that. They're like, oh, I just have to go in. It's like, no, ask when you're joining, or if you've been there, hey, you know, I don't know how to use this equipment. If there's a personal trainer on the floor, even just ask them, hey, could you show me? Because again, they could be thinking, well, here's an opportunity for me to potentially even get a client in a very legit way. And you could find a trainer, then you're like, oh, okay, this person seems really good with explaining this to me. Actually, I might do a few sessions with them to help me and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to kind of ask for things as well. If you're in just a normal commercial gym of, can you show me this? What is this?
I think it's that typical Irish thing of like no one wants to be in inconvenience. If you get a bad meal, they're like, it's fine.
It's
I'll just eat it
grand.
anyway. It's just I think it's that typical thing. Like you said, especially with like some commercial gyms can actually be quite quiet with that sort of stuff. So like if somebody came up to me in the middle of like a regular gym and wanted to, will you show me how to use this chest press machine? Yeah, great, happy days. Come in, and this is how you would do it. I would actually love that if it was me, and I'm sure a lot of other trainers are in that boat as well.
Yeah. Now, I just want to say something as well, just for anyone listening that is thinking about joining a gym. The thing with the gym, especially when you have small group training, is that every single exercise and piece of movement can be adapted for you. Like I just said about the burpee, no way we're getting down on the ground because we won't get back up again. But you can use the box to do your burpee. And about 2 weeks ago, last year, I started doing the push-ups, not from the ground, but from a bar. And then 2 weeks ago, I went down on my knees and I went straight down to the ground, lifted my hands up, and then pushed myself back up again. And I did that last week. And then today, I went down on the ground with my knees, but I didn't lift my hands off the ground. I was able to bring myself up 3 times. And that's just the natural progression for anybody doing anything in the gym. Everything is adaptable. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think,
fab.
Belinda, as we've said a few times, if we had gone back, like, say, 13, 14 months ago, would you ever have envisaged being a woman, like, say, soon to be 50, that is in lifting weights in a gym
50 kg
and has the knowledge to know, but also has the knowledge and understanding, I'm not going to end up like Arnold Schwarzenegger, that actually this is,
oh my gosh,
you understand
Jesus
as well.
Christ.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But Luke, look, I did want to go down a whole other rabbit hole, but we're out of time, because there has to be some irony with your surname as well. And like, do you ever get like the Atkins plan? Is there going to be an Atkins plan or an Atkins diet or stuff like that?
It wouldn't be the first time I've been asked, Paddy. I'll put it that way now. I'll put it that way.
Jesus, we could sit here talking for hours, lads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Luke,
absolutely.
Look, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for your time.
Luke.
It's been fascinating.
Thank you.
And
it's a pleasure.
As a friend of Belinda's, thanks for the confidence that you've given to Belinda as well over the last year. It's been like it's just been like seeing her blossom again in a whole new era of life, and like with training and the love that she has. She is crazy. When like I get a WhatsApp from her like, "Hey, morning, bitch, go to the gym," and it's like 6 o'clock. I'm like, "Fucking hell, Belinda, I'm rolling over here again." So you put me to shame, Belinda. So you do. So honestly,
you were the reason I went. So thank you as well, and thanks, Luke, for all of what you put up with.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
You were with us.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
This podcast shares personal experiences only. It is not medical advice. Always speak with a qualified healthcare professional about your own healthcare decisions. Any treatments mentioned are part of personal stories and are not recommendations or promotion of any medicines.